Morning, everybody. My name is Susie. I'm 45 years old and I'm from Dublin.
And hi, everybody. I'm Mary Frances. I'm 54 years old. I'm married and mum to one.
So this is unusual for us today and new, so we're learning as we go, but we're delighted to be here and we will start. So around the age of 15 years old, my weight, food, calories, clothing size, and the weighing scale started playing a major part of my daily life. From 2 years old, I refused most foods. I feel disgust and repulsion towards a majority of foods. My safe foods, this can be the smell, the look, the texture, or the taste. My safe foods are bread, chicken, milk, eggs, and cheese. I can't eat any vegetables at all, or fruit, or sauces. The list is quite long. When trying something new, I freeze, I sweat, I cry. I've been known to vomit. Meal times for my parents were a constant row to try and entice me to eat like everybody else. And because I was refusing to eat what my family were having, I began hiding biscuits and crisps in my bedroom to snack on when I was hungry. And this condition is called Selective Eating Disorder, or otherwise known as ARFID. And it's only been added to the DSM-5 since 2014, so it's fairly new, but it is widely misunderstood. Obesity is a complex disease, and I'm not going to say that this is the only reason that my weight increased from my teenage years. By the time I was in my mid-30s, and despite multiple weight loss efforts, I weighed 25 stone and I had diabetes and other health issues.
I've had a weight problem which feels like all my life. I was first aware of my size at the age of 7, Holy Communion year, when my mum put me on my first diet. I was made to accompany her to her slimming class. She was weight obsessed. That's how my childhood battle began, always looking for her approval at being good. But then eating all around me when I was at friends' homes, the food I really craved. As I moved into adulthood and more freedom of choice, had my own money, and with a growing market for fast food, I developed my food obsessions and secret eating. My logic at the time was, if no one sees me eating it, then I'm not eating it. This continued until I was at my heaviest of over 25 stone.
I'm highly sensitive to taste and can tell instantly if something is different. I can tell if I'm given a different brand or substitute for food from what I usually eat. To this day, I have incredible anxiety around food, and the recent COVID-19 situation has made this temporarily worse. Whenever it came to dieting, it was quite difficult to make healthy choices with the limited list that I can eat. And I remember I was around 20 years old, standing in the supermarket and looking at yogurt labels and getting frustrated trying to figure them out. I wanted to be good. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to look like everyone else my age. And I wanted to buy fashionable clothes and not just styles because they fit. Yet I couldn't simply buy a healthy yogurt without the worry there'd be lumps in it, let alone was it low fat or low sugar healthy option. As soon as I ever started on a new diet, I always felt starving. I used to eat 10 slices of bread a day and no idea what to replace it with to feel full. More than anything else, during those early years of losing and regaining, I felt a failure and a blame for not having the willpower to stick with it. I had a misleading belief that this should be simple to do. Now in hindsight, I understand that self-internalized stigma was my biggest downfall. I've tried many treatments like cognitive behavioral therapy, slimming groups, medications, and every single time my expectations were high that this is it. This time I would do it. And then in come with the negative narrative when I couldn't stick with it and I couldn't follow it through. And the depression and self-loathing and upset was worse each time when I didn't last for a long period. I only ever focused on my weight, not ever on my health.
My early adult years were during the 80s. This was the time when there were few restrictions on food advertising. Everything was fast and convenient, with very little nutritional value. My main meals during this time were takeaways, as I had no want to learn to cook. Food labels had very little, if not no information on them, and there were lots of claims of being good for you. And the children's fast food were made to look appetizing and appealing. It was at this time the diet market came into its own with slimming clubs, Diets that consisted of shakes and meal replacements were common adverts on TV, and I tried them all. This is still a huge market today and can be very confusing with conflicting information over calories, SINs, high fat, low sugar, high in protein, good for your bones, good for your heart, good for your cholesterol. New improved recipes when we didn't believe there was anything wrong with the old ones. The food industry are now all competing for the growing market of people wanting to be healthy, to eat more nutritional foods, to know more about what is going into their food that they are consuming. So the bold notices on packages has increased. Most of us lead very busy lives. Many, like myself, work long shifts. I work in community care and sometimes find it almost impossible at times to make these healthy options and often rely on quick access so-called diet meals. This is what I did, thinking I was doing good, making an effort, but not losing weight. Thus, the vicious circle of diet and self-loathing continued. There is so much more that could be said, but we don't have the time, particularly about the struggle for young families trying to do a healthy grocery shop when on a tight budget.
Over the years, I realized that expectations were the building blocks for disaster. The misleading belief that it was all or nothing doesn't work. The negative narrative doesn't work. Believing all the claims made with every diet, every gym offer, every promotion would lead me to this magical number that I had of between 8 to 10 stone on the scales just didn't work. I didn't believe my health would improve until I got to that number. I blamed myself for not eating normally. I actually believe that people who live with overweight or obesity are often in such a distressed state, either physically, emotionally, or mentally, that they will jump on board with any suggestion of a way out. People assume that we're lazy, gluttonous, and have no willpower. If it was so easy to lose weight and keep it off, then why is this a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide? Letting others around me tell me what I should be eating, exercising, or wearing didn't work. BMI is now used and can also be a misleading belief that unless you fit into a certain category, you have not succeeded. After losing 12 stone and regaining 5 over a period of 5 years, I'm still healthier and happier with my current BMI, which tells me I am morbidly obese. Through patient groups, I've begun to understand I can't change everything, but I can be healthier while living with obesity. I don't have to believe everything I read. I don't have to listen to everybody who feels they know what is best for me just because they care. My own positive voice is the only one I need to listen to. I know what pain I'm in. I can decide what exercise I will do. I accept there are multiple reasons that food will be an issue for me every single day. I now only follow guidelines from my multidisciplinary team who I've known for over 10 years at the Weight Management Service. I do my best every day, and each day that level of best is going to be different, and that's okay. I try to stick to my positive narrative if I can.
With self-loathing at my worst point, and due to an amazing GP, I was referred to the weight management clinic. This started my journey of learning about obesity and the effects of food on my body. I was taught about the importance of educating myself around the labelling of food, what the numbers meant, as they can be so misleading. Realistic portion sizes may not be what is stated on the label. Information can be tucked away in small print on labels, making it harder to read. Not to fall for the marketing ploys which reel me in. Buy one, get one free, 50% extra, multi-packs are cheaper. I've also learned to love myself, not to think I'm weak, unworthy, unattractive, unemployable, unlovable. These are just some of the thoughts and feelings people with obesity would have every single day, while putting on a happy smile for the loved ones around us. So now, with the knowledge I've gained and the support from groups like ICPO, I am more aware of the choices that I make. I tend to buy my food fresh, or those with clear, easy to understand labels that I can incorporate into my daily eating plan. More and more of the population are living with food intolerance, allergies, and conditions like celiac disease. and are more aware of the ingredients within the food they eat at home and when eating out. Times are changing. Between new laws and guidelines, the food industry is more open with details of ingredients, calorie content, food origin, and sourcing like organic produce. This gives us more informed and educated choice. Now, I don't buy into the idea that I need a gym membership or a fitness instructor to keep fit. I incorporate walking or cycling to and from my job. I see it as part of my daily living, where some days will be better than others. I never was a lazy person. I was just restricted by my body size.
Thank you for inviting us to speak here today. People living with overweight or obesity need support and guidance. That focusing on health rather than the scales is vital. Our body shape and size will change many times over our lives, but we still have the same intellect, goals, feelings, and personality regardless. We're people first. I'm simply Susie, and I will always live with obesity.
Thank you for listening. And as Susie said, inviting us to speak briefly to you all today. We at ICPO, the Irish Coalition for People Living with Obesity, aim to raise awareness and support people who live with overweight or obesity. If we can address stigma and try and change the mindset of healthcare professionals, the public, and our own family and friends, then humanity and the lives of those living with obesity will be all the better for it. I'm Mary Francis, and I don't struggle or battle with obesity. I live with it. Thank you.